So if anyone's listening to this, the one thing I want you to take in is less time researching kettlebell technique, more time researching brand and brand design, and then tie your brand design work into how you dial it in with actual marketing and advertising, because those are the two things missing. All you guys will retain your clients because you're good coaches. The quality of your coaching is awesome. Your members are nifty. Your community is great. None of that matters. I've seen plenty of gyms with all three of those. Good coaching, good community, and awesome programming go out of business because they had no idea how to design a brand that made people want to come in the doors.
So you have a passion for fitness and the desire to start your own business. But launching a massively successful fitness business is extremely complex. The systems, operations, hiring, firing, coaching, sales, and marketing are critical to success. Where do you even start? This show will give you the answers. Here is Bedros Keuilian and Bryce Henson, your hosts of the Fitness Franchise Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms.
All right, friends, welcome back to another incredible episode. As today's guest is someone I've been so excited to get on the podcast for quite some time now, as he's a 20-year student in the fitness industry, starting his business humbly out of his pickup truck in a park, making a whopping 3 figures, to growing a profitable microgym licensing model and venturing into commercial real estate. Now, in 2015, his gym business was self-sustaining, so he ventured into helping other microgym owners and built the media handle WTF Gym Talk to help provide solutions for the WTF moments that we've all had in business. And now we consult with other owners in the fitness industry to help them un-F themselves and their businesses. And as you can tell by now, he is definitely a straight shooter, which I completely admire. Stu Brauer, welcome to the show, my friend. Super, super pumped to have you.
Thank you so much, man. I'm really excited to do this.
Absolutely. So I've been following you for the last few months, and man, a lot of awesome content you provide. So as I mentioned,
how'd you find me? I'm always curious about that. How'd you find me?
So I'm the CEO for Fit Body Bootcamp.
Yep.
We're a global international franchise, and our internal traffic buyer, her name's Lauren Nine. She'd been following you for a long time and said, Bryce, man, this dude guy's awesome, straight shooter, heavy hitter. And that's basically how
Very cool. Very cool. The power of creating content, right?
That's it, man. So, well, my friend, we got a lot to cover today, but first, give us the backstory.
100%. So my quick elevator pitch, because this is the most boring part of having to listen to anyone's cool, interview. You want to get into the relative stuff. But so at 14, 15 years old, I'm in high school, an all-boys high school, playing lacrosse, trying to get laid, and I weigh 140 pounds soaking wet. So being a ginger and 140 pounds soaking wet, not the best combination to achieve either of those, desired outcomes, varsity lacrosse and getting laid. So I found myself in the weight room all the time, slap on a bunch of disciplinary issues where detention was cleaning the weight room, and I'm just down there reading Mel Siff and Ripito and Arnold, and I mean, literally, Creasy. I'm just digging into all the text and the godfathers of strength and conditioning. That takes me to college, where I got my degree in sociology and exercise physiology. And I even had I even got accepted to a master's program for exercise phys. I ditched that at the last second. I lost my deposit. I never showed up for the first day of class or move-in or anything. And I went and pursued this hot stock tip that I got in 2006. And that hot stock in 2005 was CrossFit. That was back in the day when that brand name didn't mean shit to anybody. No, I couldn't pay my clients to do it with me. There's no way. And so that happens. I go into it and I start working at a couple CrossFit gyms. I realized, okay, I got this coaching thing down. I've been doing this now for a while. I don't know anything about business. I've never taken a business class in my life. So I leave CrossFit world and I go into Globo Gym. And there I learned to sell, hire, fire, budgets, marketing, operational capacity. I mean, I learned, a ton from working for these companies, Gold's Gym and Urban Actives, that's now LA Fitness, and it showed me that size of the world. From there, I kind of spent some time in the Globo Gym, got promoted, and was running a bunch of clubs, big health clubs. But I knew I always wanted to start my own thing. So I did. And I robbed Peter to pay Paul long enough until they found out I had started my own company and non-compete, and they axed me. And then it was kind of a shit or get off the pot moment, right? Like, okay, you no longer have your cush paycheck and your benefits and all this guaranteed money. You now need to go eat only what you kill. And so I started with my pickup truck with an outdoor model. boot camp like so many of us do. Got to my first brick and mortar, outgrew that in a year, went to the second brick and mortar. We outgrew that in like 3 years. And then I was very smart with money, and I purchased a very sizable piece of commercial real estate in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I created a new model. I was a CrossFit gym at that time. We dropped the CrossFit, and I went ahead and started Urban Movement, which is a licensable microgym model. Right now, I tell people, imagine CrossFit on this side, imagine Orange Theory on this side. Urban Movement is the perfect white space model if you want to bridge between the two of those. So we started licensing that. We'll have other locations opening up this year that I won't have to own, which is going to be amazing. I just get to work with them and advise. And then in 2015, while all this was going on, I figured, hey, I'm not busy enough. How about I also start creating content at scale? So WTF Gym Talk was born. It started as just videos and podcasts and consulting, and it's grown now into Microgym University, which is an online school, speaking gigs, and consulting is now my full-time job. So that's it in a nutshell.
Ooh, that was awesome, and a lot to unpack there. And I can just tell your energy, your enthusiasm is, serve you well. One of the things I want to hit on, from your background origin story was, working at Global Gym, before that, seeing the power of CrossFit. But the way I understood you is saying, okay, that was a great model. However, in order to really grow a scale successful micro gym, you need to learn the sales, the marketing, the team development, the personal development, etc. And that's when you started working at Globo. You learned that there, but then you spun off and kind of had a little side hustle. And, from connecting with you, learning your bio, hearing a little bit about it, you were able to, create a decently successful side hustle based off some of the skills that you learned, including in marketing. So can you talk a little bit about, some of the guerrilla marketing tactics that you basically implemented, deployed?
So you're referring to ESC Mobile Fitness. So I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you're not familiar, over the past decade, we've been one of the top 5 fastest growing cities, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. I get to Charlotte, and I realize I've never seen so many new apartment complexes, and they're like dorms for kids who just graduated college. They're all young professional, 25 years old, 26 years old. And they all have these very impressive fitness facilities on site. So I started a mobile personal training company where I hired 1099 contractors, and I would go and I'd sign up apartment complexes. So every new resident, when they showed them and gave them a tour of the apartment complex gym, said you also get an initial consultation with ESC Mobile Fitness. And if you decide you want to buy personal training from them, and so me and my team would go in there, we'd sell. And I mean, it was an incredible side hustle. I already had a 40-hour-a-week corporate job in Globo Gym, and then I was doing this on the side and with all those trainers doing that work. And, at 25 years old, to be taking home in clear an extra $8,000 a month, I was like, holy shit, I'm the richest. Like I have more money than anyone I know at this point. That was crazy. And then obviously I got canned. But during that time, you think apartment complexes, how do you reach these people? Sure, the apartment complex would say something when they signed up, but I would hire door hanger teams to go hang door hangers. So each apartment complex has 500 units. So me and a team of guys at 3 a.m. in the morning would go in and hang them on doors. We would obviously do these workouts and free workouts for people in public places. We would do a skinny margarita Monday in the leasing office area where I'd teach people how to make low calorie alcohol cocktails. Because again, these are young kids that I'm marketing to. So we would do a lot of stuff like that to get the word out. And, I always had a videographer with me. I always had photographers coming out because I understood the importance of storytelling across those creative mediums.
Now, where did you have that vision? Because, outside eyes looking in, Stu, I would say that one of your qualities is very visionary and focus. Where did you model some of those strategies? Is that something that you just literally had the foresight? I'm curious on where you kind of had that idea.
The Globo Gym gave me some of it. Like door hangers were something I would do with an Urban Active Fitness, and we would spend $10,000 a month on them, or direct mailer. If anyone else is familiar with marketing with direct mail, that was always those traditional styles of guerrilla marketing were always there. But I'd always been really into disruptive marketing tactics. I've always thought there were really cool things that have been done. I always tell this story. There's a brewery in Charlotte that told everyone on their website and on social media and the news that one of their cars had been stolen. They had these old hearse and trucks spray painted with their logos. It done up really well. And they're like, oh my God, our van was stolen. The unknown brewery van was stolen. And it goes on the news. And people are looking around and tagging it in social media. Like, I think I saw it driving down, 74. And they finally get it back on Friday. Coincidentally, the day they drop, van theft auto beer, and the entire city goes apeshit because it was obviously a marketing stunt these guys did to drum up excitement about this beer. Everyone's looking for the van, and then they drop the Van Theft Auto IPA. It sells out. I think they had some like 100 kegs of it. This thing sells out in 6 hours. But I mean, like, I see stuff like that, I'm always just like, genius. I love it. Now, granted, hanging door hangers is not as sexy as something like that, but I've always realized, you got to get in front of people and have something entertaining and educational worth saying in order for them to listen to. Otherwise, they're just going to walk past the door hanger or walk past that thing. But an enthusiasm and interest in very creative marketing ways has been something I've always looked at, even at young years.
Yeah, good on you. Do you follow or know of a guy named Ryan Holiday by any chance?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So he wrote, and obviously then we know, and most of our audience probably does, being a very successful on marketer, but he he helped Tucker Max kind of create a big marketing PR scheme about, I think the book, I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell.
Beer in Hell, yeah, 100%.
And he created like these billboard and just this really kind of chaos type of marketing. It just literally just reminds me like that the strategy that you just laid out, very similar to that.
Yeah. No, it's a great story. I mean, so much Tucker Max, a great story, but that was back when email forwards were a thing. Remember, you get emails and you would forward them to everybody?
Yeah.
And there were those crazy stories about Tucker Max's roommate having sex with a midget in college, right? Like, it was viral. That was like pre-social media with things going viral back then. And now Tucker Max has Scribe. He has a full ghostwriting book service that you could go spend up, $20,000 to $120,000, and they will literally get a book on the New York Times bestseller for you, get you a ghostwriter, a publisher, all that. It's cool to see how that because he's one of the original guerrilla marketers.
Totally.
Like, that Tucker Max project, that was incredible.
Totally. No, literally, like, just gave me goosebumps as you're articulating that. So, all right. Well, I wanted to start out there because I think that's just there's a lot of golden nuggets in terms of executing what you did. Now I want to shift to Urban Movement, your gym, which you started and now licensed. But I want to talk about like the first years of getting it off the ground, right? Because that's all fun. Now you're a super successful guy, 30,000 foot view. You're licensing the gym. You have an incredible following and podcast. But before all that happened, talk us about the early days of basically getting the gym, some of the big successes, but also like the challenges that you experienced.
I tell people this. I was a really good operator. I had that business background. I was a really good coach as well. The thing I did better is I came into a town and I realized that the most up and coming growing market was an area called South End. South End is a district of Charlotte.
Okay.
Before I even moved here, I bought the domains CrossFit South End CrossFit, CrossFit Uptown, which is what we call our downtown area, and Uptown CrossFit. I bought those before I even showed up. I knew I had gotten this hot stock tip, and I knew I didn't know anything about business, so I left and went and did the business thing. And when I came back, I actually opened my first CrossFit gym, my first brick and mortar, in 2011. And from there, I had the best IP possible. There was a period of time where the highest Google search in anything in the fitness industry was CrossFit. And that was about a good 6-7 year run. And it's still very high up there. It's in the top 5. So I had CrossFit and then the most popular neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I killed that SEO. I killed the marketing, organic and paid. And when you're a good operator and you have good coaches and like you have the systems in place because you know all that from previous experience, the marketing becomes the biggest headache. And then eventually HR is every good business's biggest headache when you get big enough and you want to keep long-term employees and stuff. But,
Totally.
That's really, I tell people, I don't know if I did anything super special other than what I already knew how to do. And I consider it, because I've met some amazing business operators. I look at myself as like probably a solid B+. But I had the foresight to set up shop in the right geographical area with the right naming convention at the right time. And then when that train had left the building, in CrossFit, the sun started setting on the popularity of that model. Guess what? I was gone. I'm a businessman. I'm not romantic about shit. CrossFit, this, I don't give a fuck. If hula hooping and roller skates becomes the next most popular trend, you might see me open up a hula hooping and roller skates franchise. Like I'm a business guy. I look for opportunities. I personally have love with certain training methodologies and things like that, and I bake that all into what we have now, which is Urban Movement. But yeah, when I saw that leaving, I just we're like, hey, we're gonna create our own brand. We're going to step away from the CrossFit thing. I don't think this is going to work out long term. And obviously, anyone who's familiar with the PR nightmare of 2020, with the CEO having to step down after his George Floyd tweets and the sexual harassment and all that stuff, it was very good foresight of ours in 2014 to start going in another direction.
Yeah, totally. And it reminds me, the founder of Fit Body Bootcamp, I'm now the CEO, but Bedros Keuilian, who's an incredible
BK,
business partner and co-host of the show, said something to me one time that I'll never forget. And it reminds me of what you just said, Stu. He said, yes, Fit Body Bootcamp is my product, Truling is my product, the project is my product, but more than that, I'm actually a marketer. And ultimately, that's who I am, and that's how I've been able to create success. So no matter the vehicle, foundationally, I'm a marketer, and really from a business perspective, I mean, that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree 100%.
Cool. So let's talk about, you said your background was in coaching, you have like a natural kind of aspect of coaching. And I feel many fitness professionals get into the business because they have that, background in coaching, they're fired up, etc. But they don't have a lot of the marketing, the business skills, the leadership, the team development, the HR. So can you talk a little bit about that, how you were able to acquire those, and really just the value in being able to run and grow and scale like a very profitable microgym business?
Yeah, you're right. Most trainers don't go to school for business or business management or entrepreneurial leadership. They go to school for something not even related to fitness. And then they become a client, they lose 30 pounds, they have a life transformation, and then they get into fitness. That's how a lot of people start. And those of us who organically started in fitness, getting exercise science degrees or being personal trainers when we were teenagers, you're right. You have that. You've got a passion. Well, I've got a passion for whiskey. I'm not opening up a fucking distillery anytime soon. Right? Like I realize that there are things that I'm passionate about I shouldn't, but I don't want to own, or nor should I. I would need to stay in my lane as a consumer. But for a lot of these trainers, they step into the ownership role, and you're right, they're missing a lot of that. And I never understood. Like when I went to go work at Globo Gym, they literally hired me at like $12 per session, lowly personal trainer. And within under 2 years, I was the VP of personal training. I had a dozen clubs under my name. I got paid a lot of money to learn the business side of fitness. And this idea that there are gym owners out there that the first thing they're going to do, they're going to go from I love fitness to I have a brick and mortar lease with my fucking name on the building, and go work somewhere. Go work at a successful gym for a few years. I promise you, your trajectory of success will be astronomical. But every trainer's like, well, no. If I don't open up here at this time, and this is the perfect building, like this building right here, and someone else is going to take my idea, your idea ain't that fucking special. Trust me, okay? What's going to happen is you're going to end up like 80% of us that unfortunately, if you build it, they will come. They think they're Kevin Costner. They set up shop, and they just don't have all the other things. And passion has never, ever in the history of the world built a business. It's only built a job. It is somebody with business acumen who understands how the entire ecosystem works that actually creates a business. Otherwise, like the majority of the fitness industry, they have jobs, maybe good paying jobs, but if they go and take a vacation for 3 weeks, they ain't getting paid. Same thing with hairstylists, barbers, etc.
Well, I think the intention of that Kevin Costner build they will come is good, but it's very bad advice from my perspective, right? Because you need to learn how to do all the tangible hard skills and not just expect, hey, I have passion for something, it's going to grow and come. And I think you were going to interject there.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I think the idea is, I have a saying that I relay is, do what you can't. This is something I stole from Casey Neistat, who I think stole it from Samsung, and I've got a huge neon sign in my studio that says, do what you can't.
What do you mean by that?
If you build it, they will come. I believe, yes, you need a little bit of what I call fuck it in your system. You got to have some ideas where someone's like, I don't know, man, that's probably not a good idea. And just it within you, which is such a cliche entrepreneurial feeling of no, I can make this happen. Well, guess what? 1% of us actually make it happen to that degree. So for practical standpoint, because you have the opportunities to go work at a Soul Cycle, go work at a Barry's Bootcamp, go work at a NC Fit or an Urban Movement or a Metabolic or whatever, go work there for a few years and just get some things under your belt. Because to go from you're just a technician, there's two other phases. There's managers, aka leaders, and then there's the visionary, the entrepreneur. And to pass through all three of those, for anyone who's read Michael Gerber's The E-Myth Revisited, you have to get a level of knowledge. And where are you going to learn that? You're going to learn that while you're cleaning the toilets and the floors and coaching the classes and answering the emails and answering the phones? No, there's no time to learn at that.
Yeah, it's really, Stu, from my perspective and kind of hitting on what you said, it's like modeling success, right? And that's why your business is successful, your licensing model. That's why us at Fit Body Bootcamp, it's not reinventing the wheel, it's modeling success. And how do you do that? You basically take time to learn and really learn off people that have done it before you. And I think there's huge value in that.
Yeah.
All right. Looking ahead, one thing I want to talk about, seeing your mantra and kind of knowing, following you from afar. One of the things that, is a focus, I know what you preach for other gym owners in your consulting business is, focusing not just on the workouts, which are certainly important. You want to be able to provide great coaching and movement and nutrition coaching, but more than that, like delivering experience. And many times that's like overlooked and not really the main focus, especially for people who are fitness people and don't really have that business acumen. Because you talk a little bit about the importance from your perspective, from micro gym owners, to like delivering the wow and delivering the experience way more than just a workout.
Yeah, and it's tough. You can see it in select brands in the fitness industry, but I tell people where you're generally going to see it, an easier way to do it, go visit really nice hotels. I believe the fitness industry and owners and operators in the fitness industry should take more cues from the hospitality industry, especially the high end. If you are a high end location, you're charging a premium rate, fine. If you're the Red Roof Inn / Planet Fitness, that's a different story. But for those of us in this studio micro gym space that want a premium service with a premium price tag, go to the Ritz-Carlton. I've got one here in Charlotte, right? I used to go quarterly and just do a staycation. And the things I would take down and write in my notebook that I picked up on just away from the bellhop. Do you know what the Ritz, if you bump, you see someone working there in the hallway and you say, hey, where's the weight room? Where's the fitness center? They can't tell you. They cannot tell you the floor. They can't give you instructions. They have to stop whatever the fuck it is they're doing and actually walk you up there and have a cool, engaging conversation with you. That is a policy there. Ooh. I mean, I've had amazing experiences at different hotels, at resorts and stuff, and I took that stuff back to Charlotte, to Urban Movement. For example, my clients don't open the doors. We open the doors for them. We have someone at the front desk that's there, greets you at the door. You ever been to a restaurant where like the maitre d' opens up, greets you? It's a nice feeling. Hey, how's it going? We give them a sweat towel when they walk into the facility. At the end of the class, we've got a cool down stretch, and we have ice-soaked tea tree or lavender scented towels that we give them afterwards. And it's this very spa-ish looking experience. And I built out the building. I've got my own laundry room in there. We go through 400, 500 towels a day. We have private showers, and I designed all that with the idea of convenience, lavish, posh, knowing that do I need those things to be successful? No. But do I need these little things, consistent touch points on the client experience side to stand out? I do. And it happens every month. A client who's canceled because they moved somewhere else sends an email, miss you guys, and I miss the cold sweat towels. Or it's nice being greeted at the door, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, that's when I know I chose the right thing. But I only was able to pick out those client experience touch points because I step out of my four walls and I look at other industries. I look at what brands like Smile Bright, right? Like adult retainers are doing, like Invisalign are doing. I go ahead and take a look at like Warby Parker's doing things that aren't even touching the brick and mortar in-person service agency, and I take note of what I see people doing to make a great client experience, and I think everyone in the fitness industry should too.
Yeah, amen to that. There's a saying that one of my buddies, actually, I'm not sure if you know him, he lives actually in Charlotte in the fitness industry. His name's Martin Rooney, and he owns a licensing company called Training for Warriors. His mantra is, it's not what you know, it's the show that you throw. And he's talking about the ambience and like the showmanship that you need to be able to provide in your training studios. But then more importantly, kind of like doubling down on what you said, Stu, hospitality is an incredible industry. We're based here in Southern California, and there's a restaurant or a hotel chain called the Montage, which is where there's one hotel of the Montage that oversits like the cliffs of Laguna Beach. Okay. And we've actually looked at bringing in a consultant there to kind of coach our team, just basically on the hospitality aspects that you did, inclusive of like one of the best steakhouses in Orange County. We actually hired the owner to basically give us customer service training, like our team and our brand, because it's just that important. So just reaffirming, literally everything that you just said.
That's perfect. That's exactly what it's all about. And again, when you stay in your four walls, whether figuratively or metaphorically, you're only going to know so much, right? So, I mean, yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah. All right. So I want to transition now to your consulting business. Before I do, one of the things that stuck out, which I've had experience doing the same thing, which has been really, really a game changer, is not only in investing in the business, but also the real estate component. So can you share a little bit about, your insights? And I know, from an asset, long-term wealth creation, that's a super solid thing to do.
Yeah, simple math, kids. There's no wealth in used kettlebells and barbells and gym floors and Concept 2 rowers. There's no money there. There's also very little money in a singular owned gym that how do I put this? In the mom and pop industry, very few owners are going to exit in a profitable scenario, meaning they sell it at a good profit. Right, which is tough because most of these owners are working in their business, so there's not really even a business; it's a job, and it's not a seller's market. Let's put it that way in the microgym mom and pop industry. Now, if you're part of a franchise and you have X amount of units, it's a completely different scenario. And I knew wealth. I mean, everyone's read Guy Kawasaki. I mean, I know wealth is in the dirt. So purchasing commercial real estate, and I've talked about this on my own podcast, and I'm not going to be a gym owner forever. So I created a license model. I'm going to retire. Like, I will be retiring from owning a gym at some point in the near future. I'll lease out my building, make more money than I ever could do, even with the most profitable gym I own, for as little work as that is. And I'm going to have a license model so I can stay in the fitness industry. I can still travel around and talk with awesome guys like you and other owners and operators and keep the podcast and the consulting going. But I tell people, if you ever want to see a career beyond working in your gym, real estate is commercial. I mean, I guess you could do the residential flip thing, but I think commercial is probably one of the best options you can. You can get an SBA 504 loan, which the SBA will allow you to purchase, help you purchase a building by only having to put 10% down versus a traditional 20 or 30 going with a traditional bank. But you have to be the owner-operator inside of it. Your business has to occupy 51% of that building. But it's a great option, an amazing one that anyone listening who's ever considered this should be getting on the phone with their small local bank and the SBA officer there and talking about the 504 program.
Yeah, totally. And that's actually, Stu, exactly what I did for my business.
Nice.
And, I had 5 locations at one point within our franchise. Now I have 2 just so I could focus on building our headquarters. But one of my locations in San Marcos, which is a suburb of San Diego, did that model. It's great because now the new owners, they're, awesome. They're profitable. They're off to the races strong, being able to provide a lot of support. But also, too, I own the building, so it's a good long-term play.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would agree with you from that real estate perspective. I've always been fascinated with it. There's money in the dirt, which is the Kawasaki and big takeaway. I also would kind of point out that you're absolutely right in the sense the average microgym owner across the U.S., because there's a lot of mom and pop shops, right? But people that sync up with like you and us, have a bit more structure and
yes.
Thinking longer term exit strategies as well. So I don't want to completely downplay the fact that
and I apologize that came off like that. It's not at all. It's unfortunately there are mom and pop guys that are going to go at it on their own. I do believe they have less likely probability of having the level of success that they probably dreamed of on day one. If you pair up with a Fit Body, if you pair up with an Orange Theory or an F45, you now have a team, a success team, or an urban movement. Like right. You now have people who've been there, done that, and can provide all that stuff. Right? If you didn't go get a job at an urban movement, an Urban Active or a Gold's Gym or an LA Fitness and go work at a Globo Gym like I did, I mean. I would, if I had not had that, I would have probably not looked at CrossFit as much as I probably would have looked at a Gold's Gym franchise or somewhere where the business acumen was installed from day one, and I had a group of people that were guiding me and assisting me through the process.
Yeah, amen to that, and I think well said and spoken. So that in mind, actually, kind of taking that, framework and kind of now transitioning into, your consulting business, because again, there's a lot of value, and just think of it, for our audience, most people need fitness coaches because they need someone to hold themselves accountable, kind of coach them, push them, right? And that's the same thing with business owners as well. So I think there's just so much value in what we both do. So can you talk a little bit about your consulting businesses, like what you see are the biggest obstacles and challenges, for owners? And
yeah. I've had such a hard time with this word consultant for so long. I feel like the fitness industry, when the rise of, if you're familiar with, which is an amazing company and a very impressive entrepreneur, I've had him on the pocket, like Alex Hormozy and Gym Launch and the
Oh, yeah.
6-week challenge, right? Like
Yep.
that's when the marketing infopreneur cesspool opened up upon the fitness industry, and everyone's like, how to get 700 leads in 3 hours for your gym and that whole thing.
Yep.
So I hate being, I want to warn people this. What I do in my consulting is one-on-one work. I do up to 40 gyms per month or 40 calls per month, and that's it. So it's one-on-one work. It's like going to a bespoke tailor who's making you a custom fit suit versus going to Men's Warehouse where I give you the same 10 courses and a PDF that I give everybody else. Right. So it's very cool for me because I get to work on 40 different business problems every single month. And number one, they're not my headaches, but I get to see them from a different perspective and help guide these owners through the headaches in their business, get to them, get a solution to them that they otherwise would not have thought of, or maybe would have taken a long time and a lot of money for them to get to that solution, and help them on with the next problem. Because here's the guarantee in business. You're always going to have problems. You're always going to have fires. And so I help put out those fires.
Forgive me for jumping in there, but that's just so critical and really doubling down. And I think why, a guy like you that's so successful and has so much experience in the industry, not only can you provide the knowledge, but one thing that I find, and also too with me consulting other owners, you're unemotional about the issue, right? And let's face it, part of the human condition, we're emotional creatures. So yeah. Your fitness clients, yes, you're able to provide a lot of experience, but also you're able to provide that experience. To your point, it's not your problem to deal with, so you can look at it from an emotional lens. I think, Stu, there's a lot of value to that.
Oh, so much so. I mean, it's why people go to marriage counselors. Mm-hmm. Right? Or see a psychiatrist. It's someone who can see it from a third party perspective. And, I'm sure you see this too, in the world of the fitness industry, again, because the concept is I got the passion will push me through. Eventually you get to that point where you're like, I actually don't know what the hell I'm doing. And there, it's for me personally, it's awesome to hear that my ideas can work in San Antonio, Texas, and Germany, and Ohio, and whatever, and I'm able to mold them. The networking is so much fun. I've truly enjoyed the one-on-one business consulting, and that's a job like a lawyer or a doctor. If I don't show up at work, I don't get paid. Mm-hmm. Like that's not WTF Gym Talk is not a business by any stretch of the imagination. It is a job. The day I die, I get hit by on my motorcycle tomorrow, and I'm dead. Guess what? There is no more WTF Gym Talk. So it's a job I've created. Whereas Urban Movement and the real estate company is a business, but it's a job I've thoroughly enjoyed. I don't see myself slowing down on it anytime soon.
Yeah, good on you. Stu, what would you say from your perspective is like your zone of genius that allows you to actually coach and consult at a very high level? I just want to kind of peel back the onion on not only what a good fitness coach is, because to some extent we've already hit that, but what constitutes a good business coach?
I think my superpower is that I can zoom out. So you give me your micro problem, right? You're zoomed in on this problem. This coach did this with these clients and had said this at this meeting. That's zoomed in. Mm-hmm. I'm able to zoom out, and I'm able to reverse and be like, okay, but could we see how that coach got to that conclusion or came to that justification? Based on what you told me happened 6 months prior and a year prior, can we understand how they'd get there? Okay, cool. Because a lot of times owners come, like you said, very emotional about something going on. There's no memberships this month. 2 coaches quit, blah, 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 blah. And getting them to zoom out and just understand, how did we get here? All right, we're here. We can't do anything about it. We can't magically flip our fingers and make this go away. Let's understand how we got here. So I zoomed them out and I make them understand these are the things you did, right or wrong, that ended us up here. Do we recognize that? Yes. Okay. Now, here's the strategy I would put in place. In fact, here's 2 or 3 of them, and we will co-select one together. Because I don't want to just be shove it in the baby's mouth, take the spoon and shove it in the baby's mouth. I want to put some options in front of you because you're still an entrepreneur. It's your business. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, which one of these do you feel you'd have most success with? And then I will interject. If I think they chose the crappiest option, I will let them know my thoughts. But again, at the end of the day, it is their business. I'm there to guide them along the process and make them avoid very expensive headaches. But it's that ability to zoom out, because you're right. We're just snow blindness as the actual. I've got business coach because I for my gym, mm-hmm. because I get too close to my own product and I get too emotional about it. And without having someone to bounce ideas off of, I would probably have fired all my staff and have one hell of a whiskey drinking problem. So it's just really beneficial to have someone to work with.
Yeah, totally. It reminds me, and I'm sure you might have either heard of him or read the book, Jocko Willink's Extreme Ownership.
Yes. Yeah.
And one of the things that he talks about is, a staple of leadership is being able to detach from the situation. And that's easier said than done, right? But for you, that's one of your zone of geniuses, and you can do that inherently, as can I, right? From when we're coaching and consulting our people.
Yeah.
The other aspects do, and I think this is a staple of your personality and probably a zone of genius as it pertains to getting your clients incredible results, is just the fact that you just tell it like it is. You are a straight shooter. You probably offend some people at times. When sometimes I hear some of the stuff you say, I take a step back, I laugh, and I'm like, you know what? He probably pissed some people off, but you know what? The guy's right. So talk to us a little bit about that.
When I started WTF Gym Talk, it was exactly, I was having these, what the fuck kind of moments, like we all have in business. But I also looked at the guys that were giving advice at that time, and a lot of it was very vanilla. So I grew up on Howard Stern, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Eddie Murphy. I mean, if I could have any other job outside of what I do now, if I had the skill set, I would want to do stand-up comedy. And I love that in your face, just kind of like, holy shit, did he really just say that?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but if I take a second to listen to it, man, he's got a point.
Yep.
I've always gravitated to that kind of a delivery. And that's what I've always done since day one. And my consulting is very similar. And I think that's why I'd make way more money if I dialed it down a bit. I've had sponsors that have dropped me because I didn't dial it down. And but the people that are with me, they want that. They want a kick in the ass. And I don't know how to do it any other way, to be honest. It would be absolute fraudulent if I got on here. It was super nice PC. I'm going to say everything to just make everybody feel okay. Mm-hmm. I'd rather say something that really triggers some people and gets them thinking about their own bullshit that they have going on side as to why they're making those business decisions or not. And, things that are going to, if you're doing it right, man, Stu said this was the right move. Well, he rarely, he tells it how it is. I'm going to take that as a huge compliment.
Yeah. Well, I have a ton of respect for that mentality and a ton of respect for you for delivering like that. And I think we need more people, straight talk as you do. So good on you for that. Now I want to kind of transition, and not really transition, still kind of on the topic of you helping and coaching other micro gym owners. Pretty deep question, but could you provide one unique value bomb, probably something that the average micro gymmer should know, but for whatever reason they don't? Like from your perspective, what would be a big nugget there?
I honestly think that the biggest thing, if anyone's listening to this, that I want to take away is the idea that the brand of your business goes beyond the logo and color scheme. The brand of your business, and here's the operational definition from a man named Marty Neuermeyer, who is the absolute godfather of branding. A brand is a person's gut feeling about your product, service, organization. And that's it. So, Bryce could have a gut feeling about Urban Movement that's, oh, that place sucks. And Stu could have a gut feeling about Urban Movement like, that place, it was amazing. I love it. It's better than any gym I've ever been to in Charlotte. That's still brand. I did something that turned him off, and that's okay. He's not my avatar customer, but I must have done something that really turned this guy on. And that's the number one thing, is to lead with brand. Because at the end of the day, kids, and I know this is going to hurt some people's feelings, the quality of your coaching, the high level of your programming, and your amazing community doesn't mean dick. It doesn't. It is the easiest thing to do. Retention is the thing that coaches do the best because they actually care about their clients. Coaching, well, yeah, you're a professional. Your name is on the building. You sold me a membership for Unlimited Fitness. You better be good at coaching. It'd be like a pilot being like, I'm really good at flying. It'd be like, you better be, asshole. I'm on this fucking flight with you. And then, this idea of community. Oh, my community is amazing. No, you meant to say your culture was amazing. Your community is just Sally, John, Tim, and Tina. Well, guess what? Sally, John, Tim, and Tina will move because their husband got a new job, or they had 3 kids, or they're changed, or they want to start mountain biking and they don't want to go to your gym anymore. They're going to leave. Your community is transient. It goes in and out every few years, every few weeks or months, but the culture stays forever. And if you can accept my thought process on those couple items, you then are left with brand and what I call like a client acquisition system, or is what most people like a funnel, right? Like you have to have a way to bring new people into your program. Retention, even the best I bet you your best operators are running 95, 96% retention, really good, maybe even 97. 99 and 100 don't really exist in this industry, but those mid 90s, but on a 250 member studio, you're still having to find 13 new members a month, 14 new members a month with that math. Where are they going to come from? You got to have a brand. You got to have a real people that have a gut feeling, an instinct about your thing. Oh, those are the guys that do it like this. Or that's the gym that does it like that. I've heard of that. And then you need to have a client acquisition strategy, which is essentially creative. You have to have photo and video that story tells your brand in a compelling way that makes someone go, man, that's like what they just said there. That's exactly the problem I have. Like at Urban Movement, I'm in a transient young, my brand is, again, between Orange Theory and CrossFit, we are this thing. We're this place to have badass workouts that aren't bad for you. We appeal and cater to the young professional who fitness isn't their life. Fitness is something they do to support their life, look good naked at the pool parties, be able to afford the craft beers on the weekends. And we make fitness fun, and we make it extremely accessible for people to get started with us. And that's it. That's what people have heard about us. And then I back it up with a client acquisition strategy. So if anyone's listening to this, the one thing I want you to take in is less time researching kettlebell technique, more time researching brand and brand design, and then tie your brand design work into how you dial it in with actual marketing and advertising, because those are the two things missing. All you guys will retain your clients because you're good coaches. The quality of your coaching is awesome. Your members are nifty. Your community is great. None of that matters. I've seen plenty of gyms with all three of those. Good coaching, good community, and awesome programming go out of business because they had no idea how to design a brand that made people want to come in the doors.
Yeah. And for me, Stu, what you just hit is the ability to be able to craft and communicate a story. And to your point, a story that identifies a pain point that your audience, your avatar is basically experiencing, and then be able to take them on an emotional journey through the art of storytelling, through picture, through video, to basically, walk into your gym and really, in your words, have that gut feeling like this is the place, this is the place that I need to be.
Yeah.
So, well, my friend, dude, we've covered a lot. I still have a few more minutes with you, but I do want to transition to the lightning round. I know you've been so gracious with your time. If you're up for it.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend, let's go. Certainly our space, there's a lot of passionate people in fitness, and that's kind of where many coaches are derived. What would you say, in your life right now, whether it be personal or business perspective, like you're super passionate about, and why?
It'll be business-based. I'm most passionate right now about the concept of operational capacity, maximizing smaller studio sizes and getting more people in there, better equipment. I believe there's an equipment revolution coming. These big pull-up rigs and 7-foot barbells and all this weight. I mean, it's just silly. It's going to look like our mother's phone or her Nokia cell phone from 92. We're going to look at it back in the day and be like, oh my God, people really put these giant things in their gym? That's ridiculous. So I'm very big into the equipment movement that's happening now. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with supply chain in the next 3 years. But I think a lot of people with the at-home, everyone having to work out at home, a lot of really cool, small, compact products hit market. I mean, go on Kickstarter, just put in fitness, and I think a lot of them are going to start going commercial. So I'm real excited about helping a lot of gyms and studios increase their operational capacity with new equipment over the next few years.
Dude, man, that is so spot on. Our brand literally just developed a partnership with Torque,
One
of the
I know
gold
Torque,
standards. Yeah. And we're all about basically how can we take this model, make it more efficient for the exact same reasons.
Is Torque the pushing sled with wheels?
Correct. That's one.
Yeah, that thing is badass. But again, you think about a sled, it's like it takes up, like you got to go down and back. It takes up a lot of space.
It does. It does. And actually, that's not that piece of specific equipment we haven't aligned with or partnered with. More some other efficient racking systems.
Okay, cool.
Again, going back to the efficiency. How can we take this floor space, maximize, for efficiency and result? So, all right. Next up, before all the success, extremely successful micro gym owner, getting in the real estate business, now consulting, have an awesome, podcast. Before all that success, looking back at your younger self, what was the one thing holding you back, and how'd you overcome it?
The biggest thing holding me back is I think I waited too long to ask for help. Looking back, I probably could have accelerated where I was in life sooner had I reached out. And I think in the beginning I tried humbly. I reached out to other owners. I sent emails and all this. And I think it was still just a little bit too much of like, I don't know you, kid. And I don't think a lot of us really knew in 2010 that much about the business, on that side, as well as running a microgym. But looking back, I wish I would have dug down that hole deeper. I wish I would have gotten mentorship earlier. I wish I would have traveled and gone and seen other operations sooner. It would have just given me a better insight. That's my biggest thing now is, I literally, if I hear of a brand new microgym model that's doing a grand opening in LA, I'll go. I'm checking out everything. I want to meet everybody. I want to see it and taste it myself. I just don't want to see a promo video. And I just wish I would have done more of that in my earlier days.
Heck yeah, man. Good on you. And on that note, whenever you're in LA next time, we got to do another follow-up in person if you're up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. So that lends itself to the next question, actually, would be you're in the business of giving great coaching advice. And one of the things you just mentioned is you wish you would have tapped into more mentors and coaching advice earlier. But what would you say has been one of the biggest pieces of advice that you've ever received, and why?
This is another mantra I live by. Just keep uploading. I'm in the I make content essentially for a living, and then I coach people on the back of them finding that content. But if you're a microgym owner, studio owner, you have got to keep uploading stories. You have got to keep storytelling every single day. You have to, because unfortunately, that's the world we're in. That's it. I know it's annoying for some people, and some people still are stuck in this. I hate having to deal with social media. Unfortunately, brother, that's the world we're in.
Yes,
just
sir.
keep uploading. Think of fun, creative ways. And now, with TikTok and Reels, there's so many fun ways to stay in front of someone. But I'm telling you, there's an easy correlation between the gyms that went out of business during COVID, that went out of business before COVID, and will go out of business tomorrow and the rest forever time, are those that don't effectively grab the attention of the market, aka uploading content. And without that, your awesome coach, again, going back to coaching, community and programming, it's not going to hit the people. Your megaphone's too small. So keep putting on that megaphone. Keep uploading.
God, amen, man. Speaking the truth, Stu. Love it. Next up on that line of certainly being important to keep on uploading and putting out content. Also important to basically intake good content, high quality education. From a learning perspective, what would you say would be, a best book recommendation or a podcast or some sort of learning source that's really impacted you that you could share with our audience?
So I mentioned Marty Neuermeyer. And I couldn't spell it if you put a gun to my head, but look up Marty Neuermeyer. He wrote a book called The Brand Gap, Zig. He wrote a book called Zag. Absolutely amazing. The second best book I've ever read on the topic of branding, which again allows you to unlock marketing, is this Primal Branding by Patrick Hanlon. And that is what my favorite. He lays out 7 elements of every successful brand, whether it's the Yankees or Beats or Orange Theory, and lays out these 7 elements that every successful brand has. And I build a lot of my consulting around when I'm doing brand work with someone around that framework, and it's incredible.
Awesome. I haven't heard of that second one, so I'm all over it. All right, last couple here. Next would be, habits are foundational to success. Whether you're coaching a fitness client, whether you're coaching an entrepreneur client, what would be a significant habit that you've acquired over the years that's led to your success?
I'm a Google Calendar color coding junkie. I tell people fight the white, and what I mean by that is my calendar is filled. Like there's no white space in my Google Calendar. I've got 3 different colors: personal, WTF, and urban. Those are my 3 blocks. And that doesn't mean I work all day or whatever, but I feel like, okay, I'm going to hang out with my daughter during this time. I'm going to get a workout in this time. I'm going to take a shit shower and shave during this time. My entire day is locked and loaded. Before I go to bed every night, I look at that calendar and I make sure the next day that those 16 or however many hours I'm going to work or be awake are crushing, because so many of us have busy days, but we don't get shit done. My favorite thing to do is at night is to look at the next day's agenda, and I get hype looking at that. Like, okay, I'm going to crush that. Yes, I'm super excited for that interview with Bryce. Boom, boom, boom. And I get psyched about it. Just like clients probably look at the workout for the next day, like, oh man, I got to get some sleep tonight. That workout's going to be killer, but I'm looking forward to it. That's me. And time management and maximizing my productivity has been one of the best habits and life hacks I've ever done.
Dude, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. All right, Stu, man, this is the last but certainly not least to put a bow on this, and you've added so much value, and our audience, I know, has taken away some big knowledge bombs. Last piece of advice or recommendation, knowing that our audience are interested in fitness, interested in business and entrepreneurship, what would be your last parting piece of parting wisdom that will better their lot in life and in business?
If we went back to that statement I gave you guys earlier of do what you can't, as much as I love the bravado in that statement, take your big idea, whatever it is that you want, and I want you from Jump Street to sit down and think about, okay, here's my idea, and you've got that in your dream, like I picture my gym one day or my studio I'm going to open. You always go to the end of the journey first of how awesome it's going to be. Come back to it, and I want you to think of every obstacle that's going to pop up for you. I don't have enough money. I don't know how to hire anybody. Where would I hire anybody? Go through all the obstacles that would present themselves to you and prepare to have a few pieces of paper because it's a shit ton of obstacles that are going to pop up in your entrepreneurial journey. And before you get started, check that shit off. Like, you ever go to, I don't run marathons, but I have a lot of friends that do. You know what they do 2 days before the race? They walk the course. And I'm like, you're going to walk that? You have to run it in 2 days. Why are you walking? He's like, well, bro, I need to know where the rocks are. I need to know where the elevation gets high. I need to know all that. Because if I know ahead of time, I can start planning. Like, genius. I know people that have gone and walked the Boston Marathon route 2 years beforehand, just so that they can find the right people to help them train during that big hill climb as you get into, down by the cemetery and all that other stuff. So guys, think of all the obstacles. If you don't know what the obstacles are, talk to somebody who's already been there and done that. But then start putting a plan in place to be able to overcome those obstacles since you already know them. But to just go running into the battlefield knowing that there's 800 dudes in there and you've got nothing, you're bringing a knife to the gunfight, you're going to be more of unfortunately a cautionary tale than probably a success story.
Yeah, so true, man. And a mantra that I live by, and to kind of package that up, which I think you just spoke the truth, is the separation is in the preparation. And I think you did an incredible job of laying that down, and our audience got a ton of value today. So, Stu, man, this has been awesome. Been looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Before we shoot for today, where can our audience find you?
Guys, anywhere you put in WTF Gym Talk, you'll find me. Previous to YouTube bouncing the channel for some silly reason, we had like 760 videos up there, and we're still in the process of re-adding the back catalog. But yeah, anywhere you just put in at WTF Gym Talk, and you'll find me somewhere on the internet. Shoot me a DM. I will get back to you probably with a lengthy audio message answering any questions you have. But I really appreciate, Bryce, you having me on and giving me the time, not only of yours, but of your audiences as well. Thank you.
Yeah, man, this has been fabulous. And like I said before, I was super pumped up at this. And lastly, but to kind of put a bow on this, I just want to acknowledge you. Man, our industry, our country need more people like you, your energy, your passion. And as I've said this before, I just completely respect and admire that you just tell it like it is. You tell the truth. And for that, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much.
You got it. And friends, I know you got a ton of value today, assuming that you did. In order for us to keep on delivering this awesome content, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, write us an awesome review on iTunes, and we can keep delivering this value to you. So that's all for today. And again, thanks, Stu.
Thank you.